right. Well, good morning. Oh, give us a moment. We're coming through a curmudgeon today. All right. Well, good morning, dear ones. We are SOTU, and this is SOTUesday for the 23rd day of August, 2016, and we are here to, what shall we say, give you a little bit of a heads up on the upcoming energies and perhaps some ways that you may be able to deal with them. Certainly, right now, so much is speeding up. Many of you are still on in the United States are still on vacation. In Europe as well are still on vacation, and so are not really paying attention. Although we would suggest to you that you are all feeling the increased pressure, the increased energies that are, what shall we say, reflecting in your reality. And so we would have you understand that there. Even though from our perspective there is no such thing as an outside influence, we would suggest that the best way to define some of the energies that are occurring in your world right now are not, they are not sourced in outside energies. They are sourced within the dynamics of the internal emotional body. That is where all creation is sourced. But please understand that, in fact, if you do not know this, and there are dynamics that can occur and have occurred in your world through thoughts, through reflections, through words, through many, what shall we say, different dynamics that are saying to you that you are more threatened than you have ever been, that you need to be more afraid than you have ever been, that you need to trust this one or you need to trust that one. And all of the divisiveness and all of the divisions that exist in your world are basically bringing each and every one of you to places of frustration, each and every one of you to places where it touches dynamics of anger within you. And we wish to tell you that unresolved angers unexpressed, are generally stuffed down inside oneself. And at a certain point, the anger builds up and the anger builds up, and you never really allow it any expression through the dynamics of perhaps your own measures of control on yourself, fear or fear of humiliation or any number of, what shall we say, possible myriad reflections that come from the energy of fear. But eventually what winds up happening is all of those unresolved angers coalesces into a pool of a dynamic of rage within oneself. And rage, you are taught so often that rage is a very bad thing, and you will, the expression of rage is unproductive, and, they give you no choice. So all you do is you eat more anger, you turn more rage in upon yourself or on a frustration, or you wind up blaming others, and it causes more and more divisiveness. And it's a dynamic that is sourced in the dynamic, it's sourced in the brain, in the aspect of the brain that we define as the reptilian brain. And the reptilian brain is, it's all about fear, it's all about rage, it's all about fight, it's all about flight, it's all about them, it's all about us, it's all about better than, it's all about less than. And it's an adolescent dynamic that is practiced in your world on a collective basis. And so to be surprised that the reflection of that exists in your world is to just plain be naive. However, the dynamics of rage, you can either become enraged, and so much enragement will eventually boil out into violence, into striking out at others, into blame, into hurt, into pain. And that is what we would suggest to you that many in your world, many of those so-called outside influences are seeking to foment within all of you. And if you understand that by engaging your more mammalian brain in the dynamic, the mammalian brain is the part of the brain that reasons. That is the part of the brain that holds logic. And so if you begin to understand and look at these things with reason, with understanding, with responsibility. You will begin to find the ability to not only meet, but to change the dynamics of your personal reality. And as you change the dynamics of your personal reality, as you express your outrage, because that is the way that outrage is put forward, rage is put forward in a positive manner, is to express outrage, you begin to understand that words become very important. And we would suggest to you that there are those in your world that are seeking to usurp the meaning of words. Simply the dynamic, and this may get us in a little trouble, but the dynamic of the word conspiracy theory alone is a buzzword, is a dynamic that is meant to denigrate and to poo-poo the dynamics of the person who is expressing, or the opinion that is being expressed. And in fact, the dynamics, and it keeps a dynamic of reaction, and it keeps you in a dynamic of reptilian brain from considering anything beyond what you have been told. Question. Begin to question things. Certainly we would say question us and question the information that we give you, but we would also say begin to question the dynamics of your reality. What do you find outrageous? How can you express that outrage? But express that outrage in a way that is not only safe for you, but is meaningful. And as an example, we're going to go back to a couple of weeks ago. We basically titled the YouTube that we were a human, and said that we were a human racist. And the reason that we did that, we dropped that dynamic in so that you might begin to consider realigning your definition of what racist means. The person that we work with, Adrienne, she has written an article, which you will find on the Peace Genesis Project blog, on the Peace Genesis Project website, that will give you some insight into the sources of the word racist. But we would have you realize that that word racist has been created as a buzzword, as a way to divide you. But if you consider the source of the word race, the source of the word race is in old ancient texts. And it means the rapid movement of a stream or a river. And it really, in the source of its meaning, means no more than that. So please understand that words are used and usurped and are created and by some, and are created by some in order to cause an emotional reaction within you. Because if they can keep you in the dynamic of fear, if they can keep you in the dynamic of fight and flight, if you are so afraid that you refuse to consider anything except your knee-jerk reactions, then the reality that you are going to create, because you are still the ones that are responsible for the creation of the reality. Your beliefs and your judgments may be shaped by outside things, but the truth of the matter is that you are the reality projector. And if you choose to believe these things, once you realize that it is a choice to believe them, well, that begins to allow you to take responsibility for it in one way or the other. You either create your reality or you allow it. You either create your reality or you allow it. You can turn your rage upon others, or you can express your outrage in a way that can build a new reality. We love you all so very, very much. We are SOTU, and this is SOTUesday for the 23rd day of August, 2016. Breathe deeply, folks. It's going to be a heck of a week. We love you all so very, very much. And so until the next time we close, sending you peace, sending you happiness, sending you peace, sending you happiness, sending you joy.